Alrighty then. Successful Indie Author 5-Minute Focus, episode 957, Dealing with Burnout. And before we go any further, make sure you click on that subscribe key and subscribe so you can watch all of these as they pop up, and even live, maybe, on occasion, just in case you catch it. All right, dealing with burnout. Burnout is you're spent. What do you do? And the goal is to remove that pressure from yourself, because it's all about pressure and stress. That's what burnout is, because you've done so much in such a short amount of time. You just can't do anymore. Your creative energy is sapped. So what do? Do you necessarily take time off or not? Me, I'm like a cat on a hot tin roof. If I try to take time off, all I do is can think about all the stuff I'm not getting done. I've always been results oriented. So even when I'm taking time off, I'm not taking time off. And that creates more stress in my life. I know that. So burnout is simply slowing down, watching a little more TV, but I still got to get a certain amount of words each day. That's my response to finding and addressing burnout. I'm back 2,000-3,000 words a day now, and it feels pretty good to get that many words each and every day, because that's what I did for the first 5 years. 365 days a year, I averaged 3,000 words a day. Yes, you publish a lot, you learn a lot about yourself, you learn a lot about writing, the business, the craft, shaping a story. You learn all of that when you write that much. So now, dealing with burnout, the earlier you see it, the better it is. However, the problem there, or the thing that could creep up and bite you, is if you think you're seeing burnout, however, that's just stress of thinking that you're not going to meet your deadline, or the stress of the pressure that you're putting on yourself. This book really has to sell, or I can't do this anymore. That's a lot of pressure. And as you're trying to write, it's like, I'm not responding to this pressure well. So what do? Change your deadlines. That was the most important thing I did as I was getting down there. It's like, I just can't do these deadlines. And so I lowered the number of pre-orders that I had. I extended the dates way out. Instead of putting a pre-order for 6 weeks from now when I hadn't even started the book yet, I put the pre-order for a year out. And yes, people would complain about that, some of the readers. However, I reassured them, managing reader expectations is a critical element to your business. Just tell them, hey, as soon as I get it done, then I'll run it through the QC process, and it'll probably be a month, and then it'll be out. So instead of putting a pre-order for 6 weeks, I put a pre-order for a year and get it done and published in 2 months. Life is good. So no pressure. Take that pressure off. So removing them entirely helped out immensely. Not starting to put a pre-order when I had the visibility of when I was going to start that book. And if you get sick and all throw those deadlines, deadlines. Some people need them because they can't produce until they're under that kind of pressure. Well, good for them, because that's their business. That's their process. Let them do that. If that's you, do it. Nobody needs to tell you how you need to manage your business. However, don't drive yourself all the way to burnout, because then what are you going to see? It's your body is going to answer the mail for you, whether you want it to or not, and it's going to be at a most inopportune moment. So your body will shut down, your mind will shut down, and you'll be done. And if you backed yourself into a corner by already exceeding where you should have slowed down, then you're just going to stop in entirety. And people have trashed their businesses because they bailed out at the last minute. They consider themselves a failure. They can't do it. They can't get back on the horse. And 1 year, 2 years pass, and they're like, oh, boy, I really miss writing. Well, then you got to pick up the pieces and start from scratch. You're starting over again. However, you know a lot of stuff that you didn't know the previous time when you're writing. Take all of that, put it into practice, and you've learned. Now you've got wisdom, because that's the wisdom is what you learn from experience. If you don't learn anything from your experience, you don't get wise. All right. When you're getting towards that burnout, prioritize. What is your priority? What is number one? And can you meet number one? And then number two, number three, it comes back to the workload balance. How much do you write? How much do you market? How much do you take care of your business? What are you doing? If you try to take care of all of it, you're just going to self-destruct, because there's so much there. Prioritize 1, 2, 3. And as you're getting things done, then you can move 4, 5, 6 up into those 1, 2, and 3 slots. And now you're getting stuff done. You're managing your business, and you're moving forward without the pressure. There's always going to be some pressure, but not without that life-destroying pressure, the stuff that weighs you down so much that you can't get up. And there may be a point when you have to look at, I'm trying to make this a profession and it's absolutely killing me. Do you make it a hobby then? Hard questions. It's a hard business. And sometimes you have to ask yourself the hard questions. If it's a hobby, you keep writing, but you're not under that pressure to perform. Yeah, you go back to a day job, you find some secondary work, whether it's work from home, whether it's work that you actually go to. Do that, take that pressure off, keep writing. And then all of a sudden, when you come back, you're going to come storming back because now, hey, I've got 3 books that I wrote that I never published and I'm ready to go. Let's start a campaign. Let's tell people these are coming and make sure you let your readers know. Make sure you let your readers know, even if you're completely burnt out, that, hey, I've got to put all this on hold because I'm fried. They'll understand that because everybody's been fried at some point in their life. Some more, if you grew up a burnout, you got fried and it was cool. But we're not talking that at all. We're talking business. You get fried because you're the talent. If the talent isn't working, guess what? The business isn't running. So take care of yourself. Recognize when it's coming without the, oh, it's just a little bit uncomfortable, so I must be burning out. I'm going to bail out. No, push yourself a little bit, but not to the point where you completely melt. Because melted people don't produce well, don't work well, don't run good businesses. Ask yourself the hard questions, prioritize, and do what you need to do to take care of yourself with a little push, but not so much that you go over the edge. Hopefully that helps. It's a fairly long one, but there's a lot. Dealing with burnout is a very tough issue. And everybody deals with it differently. Everybody has a different level of stress, and not just the business. There's a lot of other stresses in your lives. And what are those doing to you? How are you managing them? And how do you keep moving forward? Big fan of no deadlines. Deadlines can be deadly. Peace, fellow humans.